All right, welcome to a short video. We're going to go over the setup I use for the technician. You can see we've got a number of golfers opened up here, but our primary one is the technician. So we're going to select. No, we don't want to reset our career. We have them as active, so we're good. So now we come back in here and we're going to go to player progression. And here you've got, once you open it all up, you'll have 500 attributes, or you'll have attribute points to put in here. You can respec them for 500 if you want. Um, I put a little bit more towards contact because I want to be able to control my shots a little bit better. Power comes into play, but really you can get around any course with 62 power. Plus, you're gonna deal with that on your club specifications as well. All these specifications will apply to your golfer. Means they apply to every club you have, and then you can tweak your setup when you get to your golf bag. So I wanted to have a little bit higher contact. So power on the technician maxes out at 67, so this is pretty close to the max anyway. Swing path controls your push and pull, so fade slice, and then correction determines how your swing stick is going to be set up, what's your bias severity of your backswing and your downswing. And we'll look at that when we hit the range. Shot shaping, how much can you change the hook or slice if you need to like curve it around a tree or something like that. And recovery will help you get some better statistics coming out of the rough or some bad lies. So I opted to go a little bit heavier on the shaping. Rhythm and transition, I just tried to balance those out. They're both important. Putt weight, I put a little bit more in putt weight than putt contact. And then putt rhythm a little bit more than putt path. The skills that I set up, I wanted to get to the power drive, but I feel you don't really need to spend the extra money on the stinger to get there, and I didn't really see a need to use the choke tee shot at all. So we just went through. We got everything for the tee shot. We hit that all the time. We went through the stinger, getting the minimum to get through it so that we could unlock the power drive. Approach shots, put all the selections on the approach shot. We skipped the choked approach. I don't think that's very necessary. We used the pitch, although I tend to use the lob and some others more, but I was okay putting these points on the pitch. The runner, I don't think I've ever used, but I ran through that in order to get to the spinner, which I use quite often, which is why we put all the attributes on for the spinner. And then I wanted to be able to hit the knockdown, but I didn't really think I'd be using it that much, so I didn't put a whole bunch of points on it. I just opened up the basic shot. I still have sort of yet to find the real sweet spot on when you're going to use this, but it's available. Recovery, I selected the punch. Um, Probably could have just selected the top one and not picked these. Tend not to find a big need for the punch. Certainly don't use the choke punch at all. The flop I do use. The super flap I do use. And the recovery, I don't use that at all. So if we were to respec this, I probably would get rid of these two right here, and then probably save maybe as much as 20 points to put somewhere else. Your bunker shots, the splash, kind of use the splash, but I tend to use the pick more often. The power pick, I selected that. It doesn't come up too often, but the pick I use almost exclusively out of the sand. So if I was to respec this, I probably would still take everything here for the pick. I would probably get rid of these two on the side, save some money there, and probably get rid of these two on the side, save some money there. The green, we chip a lot. We chip in a lot, so we want everything for the chip. Don't care about the bump and run. Putt, obviously, you want everything for the putt. The lag putt, I don't care about that. I never use it, so we just kind of ran through that. I never use the Texas wedge, so we ran through that to get to the green reader, and I think this is a pretty important one. And then also, don't forget unlock all these. You'll unlock them automatically through the seasons, but you need to actually come in here and apply them. So don't forget to do that. So that's the attribute setup for the player and the shots. So if we jump into the golf bag now, um, we use one primary golf bag. It costs way too much money to try and level up all kinds of different clubs. So basically here you can see we put some attributes towards power. So we can get our power plus 20. If you remember, we had 62 on our player. So it gets our power up to 82. You know, it's not fantastic, but it's good enough. Contact is plus 12. That gets us over 90. And then rhythm transition, that'll get us into the 80s. If we select this and go in, we can see powers at 82, contact 92, rhythm and transition into the 80s. Still, the other attributes are acceptable. Uh, so we go with the driver, and then we go with the 3-wood. So we kind of balanced the attributes across these, um, which I think makes sense because as you start stacking these, like we did on our driver, we have 2 power fittings. The second power fitting is not as worth as much as the first. And if you put 3, the third won't be worth as much as the second. And it really trails off. So we tried to balance it out. And same thing with our irons. You can see we've got actually 5 different fittings on there. So we're getting the most out of each one, plus 12. We go down, we're only carrying 2 wedges. So we have a driver, a 3-wood, and then we have all of our irons, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got our pitching wedge, and then we have a 50 and a 56-degree wedge. I found that that tends to work out okay. Just with so many shot types around the green, I don't think you really need 3 wedges um, because you have the pick, the splash. Out of the bunkers, you have 3 different flop shots, not to mention the spinner, the lob, the pit. So you've got all kinds of shots to control distance. So having a 3rd wedge, I would rather have a full set of these high irons, 2, 3, 4, and never be stuck with seriously being between clubs on a long approach shot. Just use the wedges around the green. 2 of them is enough. And again, those wedges have balanced attributes on them. And the putter is balanced as well. And they're all plus 12s. And then the golf ball, I've been kind of going back and forth between using a spin golf ball and using the forgiveness. And to be honest, I don't really see a huge difference. I put the spin ball on there, but it's not like your spinning balls back all the time on the green. And if you're pretty good with shot accuracy, the forgiveness, having it or not, doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference. So that's, you can experiment with that one and go on your own. So that's the bag setup. So if we take this bag and we go out to the driving range, I can show you what I was talking about with the swing bias and yeah, I can show you what I'm talking about with the swing bias and with the uh, fade versus draw trajectory. So I'm set up to aim and swing with, well, with both, but swinging with the right stick. So let's get this loaded up. There we go. Just so we can see here, we're going to kill the wind. Okay. So here's my driver. You can see If I hold L1 and move the left stick, I could straighten out my shot. I can actually also turn it into a slight fade, but still have the swing bias being normal. And I could hit a slight cut and get it out there. So that's your correction at work as to whether you can move, how far you can move that before your swing bias will flip. And I can move it pretty far in each direction. I tend to find out you don't really need to move it much further than that ever. And quite often I'll just straighten it out and hit a tee shot. Doesn't always have to be a draw or fade. You can try and just hit it dead straight. And you can hit a draw. So that's pretty much my setup. When I get into actual gameplay with the driver, um, it's quite often I'm driving it between 330 and 350. Um, and that's with a somewhat flat lie, no wind. I mean, I don't know why the driving range really kind of kills your distance and doesn't really show you what you can do. But in the actual gameplay, it's a little different. So that is the technician setup. Um, well, give it a shot, have some fun with it, and we'll see you on the course.